Hello everybody, beautiful people, how we doing? Currently in the Byron Bay area, bungalow, and completed my Australian tour. My Australian tour started in the Gold Coast, then I did Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast and Byron Bay. And yeah, I've just been parked up on this beautiful land here for the last couple of weeks, just really digesting and processing the whole experience that I've had and really landing into what's important for me now and where I want to be going. It's also been giving me a lot of time to do some more research and formulate some more content, longer form content for you all that I can post up on YouTube to educate you on the different stages of individuation, shadow work, healing, working through fears, inner child work, transformation. And there's one specific, before I get into it, let me just show you this view. How beautiful is that? My gosh, I'm so blessed. And there's one thing in particular that I wanted to talk to you all about, and it's the fragility of the new spiritual life that gets switched online and is activated post a breakthrough, transmission, download that you receive. So you may have experienced this before. Perhaps you've done some deep work. It could have been like a breath work session, even a psychedelic experience or a therapy session. And with that, you've gained a deep insight about yourself, about your life. There could have even been a really cathartic, emotional, somatic, spiritual type experience that you've had, which felt very embodied, where you felt like you were really releasing a lot of trauma or tension in your body. I've experienced this many times. And it's like with that, there's a part of us that is being burdened from some kind of role in life. They're wearing a mask. They're playing out some kind of program that was causing us disempowerment and leading us down a road of inauthenticity where we're not doing what we authentically want to do. There's parts of us that are burdened by a role that we adopted in childhood, from our past, from our culture, from our religion, that is still being played out today. And then you're the seeker, you're the cycle breaker. You face that, you see it, you fully become aware of it. You transmute that burden, and then from that place, from the healing experience, there's an opportunity of integration of what the authentic role of that part is. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were programmed throughout your life to be a good girl or a good boy. And your mother was like that. And your father was your father was the tyrant and would ensure that you stayed programmed in that way. And anytime you would express any kind of anger or try and communicate a boundary in some way, there would be a really tyrannical opposition to that and you'd be shut down. Your mother modeled the good girl programming, but your father managed you to ensure that you would remain in that. So what came forward, what persona, what role that you began to embody at that time to survive, to ensure that your basic human needs of attachment to your primary caregivers could be met, is, okay, I'll play the good boy, I'll play the good girl. less chance of being rejected, of being abandoned, of being hurt. And that program, that pattern just continued all throughout your life. And you struggle to say no. You'd struggle to set boundaries. You'd struggle in your relationships, and it would lead you to, just not maintaining a sense of sovereignty or autonomy of, what's important for you in life. Instead, you just sort of agree with others. You become highly agreeable, and that could have even transferred into your business, into your career. Okay, time to walk back and show you this beautiful view. But then you had enough of it. You're like, I'm done with this. I'm done with not being my true self. I'm sick of wearing this mask. It's exhausting. I want to become my true self. I want to learn how to say no. I want to integrate my no so I can rise in my relationships, in my health. People pleasers. So much exhaustion. They're just saying yes all the time. They're not honoring their body's boundaries. Their body's trying to communicate no, no, no. Over time, it'll start to communicate that no in ways that can really show up through physical symptoms and poor health outcomes. So they go through a deep spiritual healing breakthrough experience. Oh my God, I realize now it's because when I was a child, this is how I was programmed. I was programmed to be the good girl. I was programmed to be the good boy. I can see this now. There's a deep healing experience that occurs there for this individual. The grief of the potential of who they could have been. The pain and the grief of being shut down so many times, and the fear of being abandoned if they were to be their true self. But underneath all that, and what can switch online from that experience, and what can integrate back into the system to bring more balance and wholeness, is the part of you that is tapped in and connected to their aggression, their no, their anger, their no, stop. They're even being able to pick up on the slight signals of frustrations, and it's okay, I'm going to spend some time on my own and honor that. They're able to tune in and listen to those emotional responses and instincts that their body is giving them. That's the potential that can switch online. And this goes for all of us with whatever struggle that we're going through. If there's a part of us that is showing up now in life as procrastination, and that part is doing that as a way to protect us from failing, well, what's underneath that is actually a part of us that has the courage to go forward and go ahead and take action. Now, this is where I'm getting to. And it is that when these parts switch online, there's a fragility to them. Sometimes we have these deep spiritual experiences and we're like, yeah, cool, it's done, it's online, now I'm one and done. But what's important to understand is that the integration process after that must be honored and respected, because in the case of the people pleaser, their no switching online can bring more fear to other parts of the system. Your own inner tyrants can observe the sacredness, the divinity of this no, and look at it and attempt to continue to suppress it, because that's what's most familiar, that's what's most known, that's what's most safe. And an analogy I'm going to give you with this is based on mythical/religious story. And that is, if you look at the birth of Christ, if you look at baby Moses, if you look at Zoroaster, King Sargon, or baby Buddha, these all represent the archetype of the divine child. And the divine child represents new spiritual life. And your no represents new spiritual life for someone that hasn't got that integrated yet. And in those stories, what it says is that there's an attempt to suppress King Herod. There was a threat to baby Jesus' life. The pharaohs, baby Moses had to be put in the basket and then down the river. There's an attempt for new spiritual life to be suppressed, even by you. As within, so without. And these stories are maps of the psyche and explanations of how we also experience these patterns internally. And this is something that I used to experience personally. I would have a big breakthrough experience, big transmission, big release. And then shortly afterwards, I would have the compulsion, the desire, and the urge to relapse. And I could never understand why. I was like, what? I just had the most beautiful spiritual experience. Why have I got so much desire now to perform something that brings up so much shame? And that's because these other parts of my system were observing this new spiritual life going, this new spiritual life is threatening and to us because it is going to cause Charles to rise and grow and evolve. And with that is going to come opportunity for him to fail, so much more opportunity for other people to judge him. Success is scary. We know what happened to people that we know from our past. When they became successful, the whole family fell apart, and money brings problems. And so it would urge me to perform something that brings about a lot of shame. So it selects the addiction that I held a lot of shame around at that time to bring the shame, because then the shame would keep me in a lower vibrational state and bring me more into a collapsed, contracted, small type energy that wouldn't give me the sort of motivation to grow and evolve. And we call that addiction to shame. So what I want to share with you all, if anyone here, and if you're struggling with this, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be sharing a whole lot more information about all the different layers of shadow work. And this is a really important one that a lot of the one and done spiritual healing type experiences just don't cover and don't teach. And I was really struggling to understand why this was happening. It's like, is there something wrong with me? The healing experience that I did just doesn't work. Was it all just theatrical? And really getting in my head about it, right? Which is, normal. If you're confused and don't understand what is happening, as I was. But the invitation for everyone here is, after these big experiences that you have, or it doesn't have to be a big one, it could be even a minor or moderate one, bring in more care and honor the fragility of this new spiritual life that's switching online. Give it time, patience to integrate. Give it space. Ensure that you're being held by supportive people afterwards. There's aftercare. There's tools, there's networks, there's support that you can lean on to really help it digest and sink in. Okay? And most importantly, that if there are parts of you that do switch online after these big spiritual experiences, not to freak out. Give yourself compassion for them. Meet those parts as you would any other parts. And I want to finish off with, if there's anyone who's struggling with this and you are looking for support, network, a community that can support you all through all the different layers of shadow work, whether it's preparation, going through the actual healing processes, the integration work, or really helping you actualize your goals. The Shadow Mastery Institute is a community that I have founded to give people these tools, networks, and support. If you're interested in joining, there is a link below where you can book in a free consultation with my team. Speak to a real human, a real person, someone who's actually done the course, and see if it's the right fit for you. Okay? This may not be something that you want to do now. Cool. Let it sit. Let it land for you. It could be something that you do in the future, but just know that there is support there. And for those of you, for everyone here who's listened to this, just keep in mind the fragility of new spiritual life after it's born, and give yourself lots of time, love, patience throughout that integration process. I hope this video has helped you in some way. If it has, please drop a comment below. I'm going to be sharing more beautiful, just more insights that have really helped me a lot on my journey and my community, whilst I'm continuing to travel around Australia and the world. Thank you so much. Please be sure to be subscribing to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Peace.